My name is Darren Hupke, and this is Pixels and Polygons. Today's episode's one day late. Sorry about that. That's on me. But it's a fun one. I have a conversation with my friend Jef and my friend Thomas around video game difficulty. Specifically asking the question, is there a game whose difficulty, whether it was too easy or too hard, turned you off or made you walk away from the game? And also thinking about video game balance. Like, is there a difficulty or a game whose difficulty was just right in the right pocket, in the right groove of challenging but also rewarding? It was a really cool conversation. This was first part is going to be with my friend Jef, and then after the break, the second part will be with my friend Thomas. So fun episode to have and fun episode to think about. If you all have any of your own thoughts or any own questions or responses to this, you can find me on social media at Darren Hupke on like Threads and Instagram and Blue Sky. Love to hear if you have any of your own prompts or questions that you'd like to hear answered as well. I do love coming up with questions and everything, but any help from the outside world would also be great. So that's all I got up here. Enjoy the episode, and we will hopefully hear you back or have you back next week. Bye. This is my guest for this episode. I'll let you introduce yourself, Jef, if you want to tell us a little bit about yourself. And then tell us your favorite game with a color in the title.
Okay, I'm Jef. Just a fan of nerdy things. Dancer, artist, but mostly nerd. I would like to say my favorite... I'm going to go with a recent title that I just found. My recent favorite title is Neon White, actually. It's a list that it's a game I had on my backlog for a really long time, and I finally just picked up. I got the new OLED Steam Deck, and I was looking for just quick games I can jump into, and I've been obsessed. It's a shooter, but it's kind of made to be kind of like a speedrunning game where all these little they basically have every level is like a little shooting puzzle. It's kind of like a platforming shooting puzzle, and it's back to back to back, and the story is kind of like cringy, but really it's the gameplay is super super fun, and it has you really racing to try to beat your times and get like the gold and we'll get like the platinum score. It's super super fun if you haven't checked it out. But that's my current one.
I haven't. No. I'm glad you were able to have an answer so quickly off the top of your head. I didn't know if that was going to stump you or not.
Yeah. What? yeah. Thanks for the heads up on that one. What is? Do you have one? What
no.
Is your favorite game with a color?
I don't have one. I was trying to think of one. I was thinking of like last time we talked, we've been prototyping some episodes, so we actually have another episode we recorded that I may or may not be able to cut together and make it an episode. You may or may not have heard it, but I mentioned Blue Stinger on that recording, and so Blue Stinger came to mind.
That's going to be your go-to.
And then Red Steel was like a Wii launch title, which was like a gimmicky, waggle control thing.
Oh my god, you just unlocked that in my brain. I felt like I threw that away.
And then there was that like environmental shooter, destructible like thing called Black. It was just like a PS2 era shooter.
Yeah.
But I was just trying to think of different games, and I didn't think of anything. Pokemon, white, black, fire red, leaf green.
Yes. Yeah.
So, but I don't know that I have a favorite. I mean, maybe just Blue Stinger, just because that's stupid. Like, I like it because I like it, but not because it's a good game.
You like it because it's very unique to
Oh,
you.
Lost in Blue. Lost in Blue was a DS game that was like a spiritual. It was a spiritual successor to Survival Kids, which is a Game Boy Color game, which it was almost like Harvest Moon like, but instead of having a central area you navigated through, you were shipwrecked and you landed. You were on an island, and then you found like a plank of wood, and you found a piece of cloth, and then you like crafted and fabricated things that helped you explore further out on the island to then explore and find ways to save yourself. But
Whoa, the OG survival title.
yeah, no, it was pretty cool. It was like a Don't Starve, but like easy and not like stressful.
Yeah, don't. We can talk someday about survival games because they are very stressful, at least for me.
Yeah,
personally.
and when they give you anxiety, I'm not into them. So
Yeah.
cool. Well, as I mentioned, this episode we will discuss difficulty. So I gave that topic to you, and you came up with a prompt that I will hear now, and then we'll kind of discuss it. So,
Yeah.
so under difficulty, what did you come up with?
Yeah, I would actually want you to give me a example of a game's difficulty that turned you away to the point where you never finished the game, or you shelved it, versus a game, and one more example of a game that you feel like is perfect when it comes to difficulty.
Okay, a game. Well, I mean, this is going to be a bit of a cop out. So the Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Soulsborne genre, I just can't do it. Like,
Really?
yeah, I played Demon Souls, Demon apostrophe S.
Yeah, give me
Souls.
the lineage of how many you've tried.
Yeah, I did that one, and I played that for just a little bit, and I liked the idea of it and concept of it, but like I just wasn't hooked.
And that was the Demon Souls on the PS3 when it was like the exclusive, correct?
Yeah, the original like OG one.
The original OG one, yeah.
Like Sony, I think, hired FromSoft to make that for them.
Yeah.
And then from the success that had internationally, FromSoft was like, oh, we're going to do another one, and Bandai Namco hired them to do Dark Souls. So they kind of continued their... So I never played Dark Souls 1, 2, or 3. But then after that success, obviously then Sony comes a calling again. They do Bloodborne exclusive for the PS4. Yeah. I did play through, I want to say half, maybe more. Like I did actually get into a groove, and I enjoyed it. And I just got to a boss, and of course, like it wiped the floor with you. Immediately, and that's the loop. Like you play and then you learn, and then go. But
you learn, you get better.
I just got
good.
Yeah, I just got stuck, and I didn't get good on this one boss, and I realized that I didn't enjoy the loop. Like I didn't like overcoming adversity and like feeling the accomplishment of the challenge. Yeah. Like that is video games. So when you do it under a magnifying glass where it's like designed gimmick, is that in the games? Like I don't know. I think it's too much. Like so I got turned off by that. I didn't. I tried to play Sekiro when that came out. Maybe 2-3 hours of that. And then what was the most? Oh, Elden Ring. Never played it. So when a game is too difficult, it will 100% shut me off. But that is it's that series for me that I can respect and appreciate people who love those games. It's okay that those aren't for me, and so that has been my.
That's definitely okay. It hurts me a little because I love the Souls games, especially the PlayStation exclusive Bloodborne. That is one of my not first platinums, but a platinum that I'm very proud of.
You got the platinum on that?
I did.
Wow.
Did. Yeah. Really love those games, and Elden Ring I think is wonderful. If you ever give another Souls game a chance, I would say Elden Ring is the one, because I feel like with some of the builds in that game, you can cheat it to the point where it is not a difficult game. But just the sense of discovery in that game, I think that game does open world correctly.
Okay, I like the idea of being able to break a game. So Yeah, I just got through playing Star Ocean Second Story R, and that game lets you like purposefully like break it because there's so many different like gimmicks and mechanics and things you can invest and lean into that let you control like the pacing and everything. So
that actually gets me. I'm interested in looking at that as well.
So I guess you made a two-part prompt. Let's I answered the first part of it, but I'd like to hear your what is your difficulty cutoff or turn off then?
Yeah. I feel like as I have been getting older, I have less patience for some of the games that were super difficult, but I was okay with Souls games. But Souls games I'll definitely stick with. But I'm going to go in the opposite direction and say that I loved the Pokemon games growing up, especially Blue was my first. Blue, and then after that, I just kept on going. I was a Gold Kid, Blue and Gold Kid. But I really love the idea of Pokemon. It's super nostalgic for me. But playing some of these new ones, like I really tried with Sword and Shield, and I really, really tried with Scarlet. And I just couldn't do it. They're too easy for me. I think those games are way too easy, and I wish the developers maybe added a harder mode, maybe for the adults that like to play Pokemon. I know that there's a lot of depth to it when it comes to like shiny hunting and on the hardcore side of being competitive online and trying to battle online. And I am a generally pretty competitive person, but it just feels like you have to get through just this base game, and it's not as enjoyable for me because it is way too easy. But that's just me personally.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, like not just difficult games that broke you, but like the easy games that can also break you. Like I get that. I have had the same impact by Pokemon, like loving those original games, like having I mean really just Red and Blue were it for me. I didn't do much of Gold and Silver or Crystal. You know, I did jump back in Game Boy Advance, like with Fire Red and Leaf Green. I liked those, and then Diamond and Pearl, my wife and I both had DSs, and we played those a pretty good chunk.
I did. I played those ones too.
But one of the semi-recent ones I tried to play, and I thought, nostalgically this would be great, but like there isn't a challenge. Like when you understand the core concept and mechanics, it's like even understanding them, it's not like because I know too much, this is too easy. It's like just even like the balance and scale of it, it's like, well, we're only going to give you enemies that are like 3 levels lower than your average now, and even if you stumbled through it, you'd succeed, and it's just like that's just no challenge isn't fun. That's a good answer. I like that. Good games for nostalgia, but yeah.
If you want to be challenged, no.
But then your other question, the other part of it. A game like just a good. You want like a good balance game.
Just a game that you feel has done difficulty perfect for you, where you felt challenged enough, but you saw it through to the end, or you felt really that loop you were talking about of just feeling really rewarded and for beating something. What is that game for you?
Yeah, I guess just to have something ready to go, the recent God of War games, like specifically, Ragnarok was fantastic, but the original, not original, was it 2016? What do they call it? God of War 2016? 2019? Is it 2019? Oh wow, I thought it was. That game to me, even on like the standard difficulty, like they have that paced and designed well enough that like you can't like level up and grind and like break the game and like just out muscle your enemies until like much later in it. I just remember like finding some
2018. I'm sorry, 2018.
God of War 2018. Okay, so we were both wrong. To make that clear. But yeah, that game I just felt was like super like the pacing and challenge, like scale and curve, like were great, and then it led to like the optional like Valkyrie boss fights and all that stuff that were like fantastic, and those were
Wonderful.
like trying to like flawlessly execute, because like even like the final Valkyrie was like one that was like, all right, cool, like you're allowed like maybe 2 mistakes, but you just like but it was like meaty and like weighty enough that like all the hits and all the moves felt like you weren't like, it weren't like cheap or like broken mechanics. It was like, nope, I lost because I just didn't read that right, or I wasn't quick enough. And it just felt solid, and like that game has a great pace, and not to share more like Sony bias or anything, but like the Last of Us, like
oh my gosh,
I thought had just great pacing, like they're challenging encounters or challenging whatever like at the right time, like made that game feel good, both 1 and 2. So I really like you were never like, it was never too easy to just breeze through, but it also wasn't ever like too difficult that you're going to throw your controller out the window. It was just like right. It was designed enough.
You stop your gaming session, completely, because you're so frustrated.
And then I think those two are perfect. What about for you? What is
No, that's a solid answer. That would have been my answer. Really, I loved this remake of God of War. I just finished Ragnarok about a couple weeks ago, and I didn't have to change the difficulty. I just kept with it. I think that it does difficulty really, really well, and I love all the side bosses, especially in the first one, just like you said, the Valkyries. So to just have a little bit of variety and not have the same answer. I really love roguelikes, and my most favorite 2 roguelikes in the past few years that have come out are Hades. One of them is Hades, and one of them is Risk of Rain. But I feel like Hades does difficulty really, really well for me. I feel like the best games, the games that do difficulty the best, give you options. And Hades is a pretty hard game to start off. I mean, it's meant to kind of kick your ass. It's meant to like beat you up. But as you go, they do really smart things where each run is new, but you do get points to certain things that maybe, can upgrade you and make your time a little easier later, or you unlock a new weapon that makes it a little easier. The knowledge of the game and the certain upgrades that you choose makes it easier, and I really, really enjoy that. Hades is one game that I just randomly found and obsessed over for months, constantly. And I would say the same thing for Risk of Rain 2. If you've never played Risk of Rain 2, it's a third-person shooter, but a roguelike as well. And each level that you go into, you pick different upgrades, you spend money that you get from killing monsters to change your build, and your build is wildly different by the end. I think that game does a really, really good job with difficulty, especially playing in a co-op sense. That's a game I've obsessed over with my friends, and if you haven't checked it out, I think that is one of the best examples of a roguelike out there.
Interesting. I should check that out. I've heard of it, and I've just never jumped into it. Hades, I've played a bunch of. I remember, like, again, that difficulty curve of Hades is perfect, because you have to learn to lose, and you get used to that, and that ability to, like, it doesn't like break it like by like investing points or anything, but it does. It's more of like the combination of you learning and like understanding like enemy patterns and things, plus the addition of like having like, oh, okay, I'm gonna purposefully lean into this build or this type of like ability to help me. That just made that game fun. I remember I saved the gameplay recording on my PlayStation of me beating Hades for the first time.
For the first time?
I was like, fuck exciting. Yeah, dude. Like, nobody's fucking beaten this dude before. I'm fucking, oh, shit. And then, like, then like probably 2 or 3 runs later, I beat him again, and I was like, "This is fucking unreal, dude! I'm on like next level gaming." And then I realized, like, oh no, the game is just—it's meant to. Like, it rewards players for being like, I'm not that good, but like, but still, it made me feel that way, and that's video games. I mean, that's what it's supposed to do.
Really, just I can't sing the praises of that game enough when it comes to just world building and art design, and I think that game is really, really wonderful. If you haven't checked it out yet, that was really good.
Rad.
And since you're a fan of music, Risk Rain 2, man, you got to check it out for the music.
Yeah. I will for sure check that one out. Cool. Well, then I think that covers it. Well, thanks, Jeff, and yeah.
Thank you.
Am I the pixel or am I the polygon?
You can be pixels. I prefer polygons.
Okay. Team Pixels all the way.
TP. Polygons begins to P though too. So, whoops, there's one word.
Oh shit! All right. Well, it's for the same team.
Well, you're hearing my friend Thomas, my guest on this portion of the episode, and we're going to ask a question around game difficulty. But before that, icebreaker has to happen. Okay, so last time I asked you where would you want to live out of just like a starting town location. Mm-hmm. The question I'd like to ask for you, where is just doesn't have to be a starting location from a video game, but is there a location in a video game, fantasy or real, that you would like to retire at? Where you'd like to live out your twilight years in comfort? If you could pick any video game location, where would that be?
So, this seems like a cop-out, I guess. It's probably because I don't know, they have, basically in The Sims, you'd make some pretty cool setups. All right, fine. All right. That was a little too custom. All right. Let me back it off.
Let me
have the best life.
Pick The Sims and I'll build my house.
Yeah.
I'll build my friends.
All right. Let's turn it around. Let's turn around. Oh man, even though there'd still be the threat of death, I think I'd referenced it on the last one, the old Saints Row games, you had like a super badass like hideout, mansion, all the cars, helicopters. Hell, actually, wait, never mind. I remember what happens in that game. The whole fucking planet gets destroyed. Hard cancel. Let's go with... Oh, actually, I was really loving Dave the Diver. It'd be super cool just to have a sushi bar, farm, all that other stuff. Yeah, that'd be fucking rad. Oh yeah.
That's it, Dave the Diver?
Game Dave the Diver? Yeah, that'd be super fun. Badass sushi every night. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's cool. I have an answer for this one. I think recency bias probably, but I'll just say in the new Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, the part 2 of the remake trilogy of that, their updated Costa del Sol is really cool. Like, it's just there's enough little nooks and crannies to have some fun. There's little mini game areas. There's a little sports area. It's just kind of like a relaxing resort town. There's a pier and beaches. It just seems like that's the safest, sanest place to be in that world, as long as there's not some meteor heading towards the planet to destroy it and wipe it out in some kind of catastrophic calamity type scenario.
I do pegged as a Dawn man or whatever Dawn's. I mean, pegged at a Dawn's manner. It doesn't matter. The wording's
Dawn's.
Isn't that it? Dawn. I forget the last name of it, but where Cloud had to do a cross dress or whatever. And
Dawn Caneros. No, I wouldn't want to live.
Yeah, I was like,
yeah.
I can't.
They lived in the slums of Sector 5 or whatever. Yeah, no.
8,
7. Sector 7 was where I think it was Sector.
Okay, I
think it was 5.
I can't remember if it was in 8 and 7. 5. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's where the wall market was. But no, that's all grimy, dark, and poor, impoverished. No.
Come on, man. You don't want to do squats with your boys and then go in the sauna together?
No, actually, they're not too far away in the in this remake in Rebirth. They have a little shack, off-center resort, or off of that resort town area in that region. There is a standalone building that you can go to where they do you meet your gym bros and you go do your squats and sit-ups and crunches mini games there. So technically, I wouldn't be far off. I can take a Segway because there's all these Segways you can ride in it for some reason, and just head over there.
I'm not gonna say I need to play these games, but I probably should just for reference sake.
They're fantastic games. Cool. Well, we got that out of the way. My friend Thomas is here. We are going to answer a question. Like I said, talking about video game difficulties. The initial question that was kind of like part of it, but it spun out into this like secondary question when it was answered with my friend Jeff. Is there a game that was too easy or hard that turned you off? So if you have like an answer to one of those, that would be cool. Like whether it was too easy or too hard, but just something maybe you just kind of gave up on or couldn't continue because of that. But if not, like, what is a game that has great balance in its difficulty, in your opinion? That could be the second part, or in lieu of the first question.
I think it captures all three, because at some points it's too easy, some points it's way too hard, and sometimes it's just right. And that's World of Warcraft. I mean, it could also be, any MMO. But yeah, once you learn everything and you have people who can play the game well, you're crushing it. Or you can outlevel the gear, too easy, whatever. And then like most of the solo content in those games is way too easy. But when you're going out and doing raids and like trying to progress on content and doing that type of stuff, that's when it gets to the point where it's like, oh, this is just right. I'm feeling challenged. Everything's feeling great. Or you're slamming your head into your keyboard because either you can't grasp the mechanics of the fight, one, because you refuse to look up because it kind of ruins the game for you, or because you keep saying, hey, don't stand in puddles, and you have people who are another difficulty just added to the game you're playing, standing in shit because they're trying to focus on their DPS charts, and you're like, just leave the charts alone. When you die, you lose that. Everything's gone. We wipe. Just focus on the mechanics first, and then your rotation. Like, you can focus your rotation on a bot somewhere or a dummy. Just stay alive, please. Like, I'd rather have 60% of your damage through 100% of the fight than 100% of your damage for 20% of the fight. Like, I don't know. A lot of people never understood that, and it just led to simple or moderate fights turning into an entire night of wasting. Because in those type of games, you usually have to prep, get potions and all that. So you're playing a little bit before like prep time, just getting to that point to be able to play that night, and you just ruin and waste tons of resources. So those games add just enough difficulty from the mechanics, and then they add in that fact that people don't, on a philosophy standpoint, don't work together that well normally.
So like in these scenarios, like for like an MMO, like I mean, I've only played, don't have as much experience, with them, just like Final Fantasy 11 and 14. But for you, it is like primarily when like you hit that like a good groove with the right team or the right like party. Like that's when it's like the most rewarding and everything. Like when there's
yes,
yeah,
yes, for sure. When you have the right team together and everyone has like, even if you're failing, if y'all are on the same like skill level, you at least feel like you're progressing at the same rate and everything feels right. But if you have, I mean, I guess it's kind of like, it's like a job. When you have those people at work that do 20% of the work, get 100% of the pay as well. Like, I mean, it's the same type of thing. It's like, oh, and then in those type of games too, imagine the people who don't do that much at work also get rewarded with a bonus, and that being the epic loot drop that you were hoping for, and they get the role. It's like, I want to murder this character, and they just delete their shit. Like, this sucks. We spent so much time. They added like 10% input or whatever, like 5%, and they get everything. It's just like, man. Sometimes those games can be super frustrating, but the difficulty on the raid bosses and stuff, that's definitely a perfect balance.
do you know or do you remember like your favorite like boss encounter then that you think had like the right like balance and difficulty, something that was like you didn't get on your first try, but when you finally did it, it was just like it's rewarding?
So I remember it was Wrath of Lich King in World of Warcraft that we had our guild obelisk. No, we did. No, remember, that was Casey's guild later on when we redid it at the end of World of Warcraft, Lich King. We had Malleus Maleficarum.
Was that a Black Sails reference?
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's a reference itself to just
a book.
Yeah.
Which, both. I mean, I think everyone who named the guild also listened to AFI, so it could have been both.
Celebrating 25 years anniversary. That album.
Was it? Oh, I think the raid was Ulduar. I can't remember the boss, but it had like some messed up healing mechanics and tanking mechanics. It was like, I think it was the one right before the main or the last boss. That it was super effing difficult. And I don't know if there was a patch later on that corrected it. It felt like something was wrong with the mechanics, but we eventually beat it, and it was like the most. Not the most, but it was definitely rewarding to a level of just like, oh wow, I have earned such a treat by defeating this boss, even though the next week we failed and couldn't beat it. But like the one victory just felt like such an achievement, and such like we did it. And that was actually the merging of two guilds. Like all that dead weight, we cut that loose, and we got a different guild to merge with us. And we got their good people, our good people, and finally did it.
Oh man. Well, that's the grind. Figure it out, and you get that right group to be able to get it done.
That's right. Corporate mergers. That's why they're important, people. You know, respect the corporation. Never mind. Cancel. Cut that.
When you can shut down the studio who made Hi-Fi Rush and all those things once you've gutted them. It's Microsoft.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. That recent stuff is crazy, and then. I mean, I don't know the true value of that Saints Row remake, but it was like, oh, they sold almost like 2 million copies. I'm like, 2 million kind of sounds like a lot. It kind of sounds like a lot. Is that really a failure of a game? It's like, but I guess
it's not enough for what they needed.
How much you put in it? Yeah, you're not gonna make it back.
They shut it down. Yeah, it's an interesting answer. I like the idea of like considering a multiplayer game in that, because it is going to be different kind of like each time, but when you kind of like play in sync with the right group and everything like that at all, like you can have that challenge, you can share that experience basically with multiple people, which is kind of cool. Well, thanks a lot, Thomas, for joining again, and yeah, anything you want to plug? Oh, yeah, you've been streaming on Twitch again, so share your Twitch handle again for people who may want to follow you.
Twitch.tv/Tombear, TH0MBEAR. Yeah, I talked about Dave the Diver. I played that recently. V-Rising, Planet Crafter, playing Little Kitty Big City. That's super fun, actually. That's way more fun than I thought it'd be. Highly recommend that one. Just on your own time. It's cute, fun nonsense. You feel like being an asshole cat. Not sure I'm gonna do next. I was thinking just because of Ghost of Tsushima came out on PC, I could finally play that. I know I got PlayStation, but I'd have to drag it in here to stream it.
The faults of modern technology.
You can do remote play, but remote playing on top of stream, it just led to some nonsense. I was like, this sucks.
Yeah, that sounds like a nightmare. But cool. Well, yeah. Anybody who's looking to get another Twitch follower or a Twitch personality to follow and potentially watch, check out Thomas. He's
do you like edging content?
Yeah. Again, we almost got a chance to get away from there, but you were able to bring that back in.
No. I gotta keep him there. I gotta keep him right there.
Oh God.
Just ready to burst.
All right. Good night, everyone, and goodbye. Thanks for listening.